Hello and welcome to Queer 20, the cohort of 2023. Queer 20 is Ego Monk's annual flagship program where we celebrate 20 exceptional queer Indians. Today we have with us Umang Sheth. An aspiring public speaker and advocate for social change, Umang has spearheaded various initiatives to promote queer inclusivity and destigmatize mental health issues. He firmly believes that the world will be a better place if one can find a way to live authentically without getting affected by what society has to say. To this effect, he has founded initiatives like Gay Bombay and the Hugging Club of India to empower people to talk freely about their sexuality and mental health issues and overcome the shame, guilt, or stigma that is associated with it. Without further ado, let's welcome Umang. Can you share the inspiration behind founding Gay Bombay in 1998 and how has it evolved over the years?
Sure, sure. So, when I came to the gay scene, in terms of when I got comfortable with my sexuality, that was around 93, 94, where I met a lot of people and started connecting with the community. I saw that being gay was all about sex, sex, sex. There was nobody wanted to sit and talk, connect, have heart to heart conversation. So I felt a little odd, okay, the whole communication was all about sex. And there was no space as such. I remember this was in 1996, 97. The only gay avenues was Gokul, a gay bar, in behind Taj Hotel in Bombay. And there was a pub called Voodoo's. Now, they were exclusively gay spaces. And whenever you entered or something, it was maybe dark, dingy, and it was a gay space only. So you were scared that if you're caught entering or seen, it would. So that's when I thought, okay, there has to be more. It can't be just being gay is not synonymous with sex. It has to be more. If you can just imagine, there is so much energy going in hiding yourself. If you can release that energy, you can be so much productive in other areas of self. Just being and telling home that, hey, I like men, not women, mom or dad. So I created India's first social support space called Gay Bombay in 99, so people can be open and they can talk about it. And that's how we moved to people's home houses, met mothers, aunts and things. So that was the whole idea, that to create a safe space, not beyond sex, everything. It started in 1998. Now we completed 25 years recently. So it is one space where people can feel safe. They can come out, attend various events. There is picnics, parties, uh, brunches, film festivals. Over the years, people can come and see, okay, what I see in media, what my perception about gay is not. This is totally different. This is a safe space where I can be myself.
Your involvement in the Hugging Club of India reflects a commitment to promoting mental health. How do initiatives like these contribute to removing the stigma around mental illnesses? And what is presently the biggest roadblock, in your opinion, to fostering a more supportive environment?
Yeah. So I want to go a little bit of background ke why I started Hugging Club, so that will help you me to answer your question ke how is it helping. See, I come from a, if I want to use the word, dysfunctional family. Okay. My mother had schizophrenia and my dad had bipolar. My mother would call up my uncle and say, your dead wife is in my kitchen. I am giving food and shelter. Take her. She was hallucinating. My father, whenever he got salary, he went to casinos and gambling houses and did not come home for days. So I grew up being very ashamed of my parents. I thought there's something wrong with them. My dad has a character flaw, he's not a good human. Then somebody told me very profound, Danya, that my mom did not choose mental illness. Mental illness chose my mom. Okay, this was a turning point in my career कि she is a victim. मेरे पापा बुरे इंसान नहीं है, उन्हें बुरी बीमारी है. It is not a character flaw, it's a mental illness. With this insight, I started talking about it because it was a turning point where I blamed my parents. I was so much ashamed and embarrassed of my parents. And then I realized it is not their fault. It's the mental illness that has chosen them. They have not chosen mental illness. So this is how I started talking about it, about my parents, about the mental illness. So the whole idea that we are all human being, Darya. Brain is also an organ and it can fall ill. Yeah. So what is the wrong? The whole stigma. See, if I can't control my stomach pain, I will go to a doctor. I will not try to control it. Or if I'm not able to control it, I'll not think I am weak. Okay. But if I can't control my negative thoughts, my anger, I feel I am weak. Yeah. To remove a hernia or stone from your body, you will go to a doctor. Why aren't we going to remove a negative thought or fear or doubt to a therapist or a psychiatrist? It's as good as that, right? So, initiative like this, when I started, people started coming and talking. Yeah, I have depression, I have childhood trauma, I am hallucinating. And for the first time, people would come and share because there was no judgment. So the whole idea is that you can come and be yourself. You not be ashamed of your mental illness because you did not choose your mental illness. Mental illness chose you. So initiatives like Hugging Club of India, when I see somebody who is very successful, a president of a company telling that I am taking medicine for depression, if she's taking medicine for depression, then why am I not taking, and she's functional and doing well, why not? Then I'm very happy to say that my is the only platform where mental health experts talk about their own mental illness. When people, celebrities, psychiatrists talk about their own mental illness and taking help, you realize that there is no shame if they are taking help. And if they are taking help and doing well, why do I want to suffer? When I can give my 100%, why am I giving only 20%? So initiative this like go a long way in breaking stigma. Now biggest roadblock is again the stigma. People not coming forward and talking. Other roadblock which I have is lack of resources, funds, revenues. Where I want to go to pan India and talk about it. So I'm looking for more support, funding. Resources. Tie up with more mental health fraternity where I can go and talk. So these are kind of roadblocks at the moment.
Hmm. Hmm. Um, I'm really curious about your own coming out experience as well, because I mean, it really seems like you yourself have gone a long way to come to an understanding about not just one sexuality, but also mental health illnesses, and how a lot of times both of these things can be intersectional in a way that these things do not exist in isolation in themselves, in itself, but all of this comes together and then has an effect on you. So if you can just talk it.
Absolutely. Well, absolutely. That's a lovely question, and thanks for bringing it up. So I'll give you statistics where what you are saying proves that it is right. So, Deloitte, a company, did a research that 68% from the LGBT community have mental health challenges because we have grown up trying to fit in. We have grown up with trauma, stigma, bullying, abuse, being ashamed and embarrassed of ourselves. Just imagine if you are, for example, writing with your right hand and I force you, no, 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 from tomorrow you have to write with your left hand. Just imagine how you are going to feel. Just holding the pen will be difficult, the finger will pain, and just imagine spending your whole life being somebody else. What we go through, the whole trauma of faking it, trying to fit in. So coming to myself, I went through, first of all, I come from a dysfunctional family, so my self-esteem is very zero. I grew up listening to being baila, chakka, ijada, namar, sixer, being very ashamed of myself. I remember two incidents. I was filling my SSC form and my principal said there is a male column and there is a female column. Does anybody need a third column? And one guy gets up and says Umang, and I was 16 years old. I was broken, I was so ashamed and embarrassed. I was telling God, why did you make me like this? Just take me away. I just wanted to bang my head. I remember getting a fish pond. Okay, when your mom was expecting, she wanted a boy, your dad wanted a girl. And when you were born, they both were happy. And they all were laughing. And I was so ashamed, embarrassed. I wanted to kill myself. And why me, God? Why me? So all these affects your mental health, your all these childhood trauma, because you have very so low self-esteem, you become dependent. Now I became a parent to my parents at a young age because they both had mental illness. Then I had something called as codependency because of this. Today I am taking therapy for ADHD. So the statistics of people of LGBT community having mental health challenges is high because of the trauma. And I will just add something very funny with my mom. So I was out, Gay Bombay, doing so many events, all these for the empowering the community, creating a safe. But my own mother didn't know I was gay. But my mother had schizophrenia, so I was scared that if I come out, she may get into coma or something. But my fear was that if somebody else goes and tells my mom that your son is gay, my mom will feel that is my bond with my son not strong that I have to hear from an outsider? Why can't my own son come and tell me I am gay? So I gathered a lot of courage, and one day I told her in Gujarati that, Mummy, mane chokriyo nathi gamti. Mane chokrao game છે. So I don't like girls, I like boys. And she said, yes, father, it is all nonsense. What is this crap? It's all hogwash. And I said, no, it's true. And after 2 days, I underestimated my mom. After 2 days, with a lot of thinking, she comes to say me, Darya, and says, Dhanya, sorry, that Umang, પણ બે છોકરાઓ રાતના શું કરે? What do two guys do at night? And I realized that she thought about it. What is this? How? But it was so innocent, and of course, I didn't reply. But I underestimated it, and she wanted me to then. She told you should come to my psychiatrist and we should talk about it. And that's how I started my journey. Coming out, talking, and I started talking about it because there's nothing to be ashamed about. It is like you are right-handed or left-handed, you eat non-veg or veg. What is there to be ashamed about? That's the way I am.
You created the matchmaking initiative called Mr. and Mr. and developed powerful emotional ads via your ad agency CSR initiative Change India. What is your guiding principle when it comes to starting new initiatives? And maybe what is the next pressing need that you will solve for if you've thought about it?
So this is what life is. Has its own beauty. See, I grew up my childhood very ashamed of my parents. So I come in an environment where there was nothing usual. Because there was nothing usual, I can do everything unusual today, right? Because of my background, I have a choice to be victim. But the beauty is that I can do in thousand people, I can be the only person. I am different and I am okay because my childhood was very different. It was not a regular. So all these things which I do, a gay matchmaking, hugging club of India, change India began with I, because I can do it because my whole childhood, my upbringing was unusual. If I had unusual, I can do unusual things.
In your journey, you have spearheaded several groundbreaking projects. Could you highlight some key milestones and their impact on the LGBTQIA plus community?
Definitely, definitely. The first milestone which I am very proud is I started Gay Bombay in 1998. There was nothing of that sort, you know. There was all people having sex, just meeting for sex, or I started a safe space there where you can meet and talk to people like you, talk about your fears, be wear what you want to wear, behave what you want, talk, just being yourself. I created a Gay Bombay in 1998, which was first of its kind in India. It's a huge milestone, and it's been 25 years and it's still growing. Next, in 2 3 years, I started India's first P flag, parents and friends support group of parents friends of LGBT, where I invited lot of mothers to come and talk about their children, to not feel guilty that their children are gay, that there's nothing wrong with their upbringing. If somebody wants to come out as gay to their mother, they can speak to another mother who's accepted their children, and their mother can talk to other mother. So I created a support group for parents. Now, when your parents are accepting you And that time you realize there's nothing morally or culturally wrong with me, there is no guilt. If my mother is accepting me, if somebody's mother, then there's nothing wrong in being gay, right? There's so much liberating it is. And if her mother is accepting, then I can go home and tell my mother. So I created this safe space. I created a lot of events for 15 years. I created LGBT relationship meet, HIV meet, hepatitis, where I got gay couples who've been together for 20 years and showed the world, okay, you can be in a relationship. It's not just sex. So I brought role models and created relationships. I created a group like Hugging Club of India, where 80% are LGBT, where gay people can come and talk. Okay, my mother is pressurizing me to get married. What can I do? You know, I am addicted to drugs, I'm addicted to sex because of my childhood trauma. One of the milestone is, as I said, is Mr. and Mr., where mother could come and say that I want a child, a son, a suitable boy for my son, a safe space where mother can come and tell me, Umang, my child is gay. Please help me to connect with his dad, and we can help his dad to accept. So these are certain groups I have created, Mr. and Mr., Hugging Club, Gay Bombay, where empowering lots of people to be themselves.
Um, your commitment to empowering individuals to handle challenges such as bullying, discrimination, and marriage pressure is inspiring. How do you equip people with insights and tools to navigate these difficult situations?
True, true. See, this is, my whole thought process has changed, Danya, because I did something called as Buddhist psychology. And that was a very powerful thing. What it equipped me is that I may not be able to change the world outside, and it will take a lot of time. But the only power I have is to change my response. I have my whole thing was blaming others. Now I have to take responsibility for my feelings. I don't have to blame others. So the whatever I address today, bullying or other, I'll give you an example how I do that. Okay. Now, when I was 20 years old, and people would call me Baila, Chakka, Ijada, Namad, Sixer, Ladki hai tu, Karan Johar hai tu. I would get cry and blame ke those people are horrible. Why are they calling me names? Oh God, why did you make me? But today, when somebody calls me Baila, Chakka, Ijada, Sixer, my thought process is that he was not born hating me. The society, the environment have put this into his head, right? He has nothing personal against me, right? He has nothing personal against me. He's just the influence of the society. Do you want to spend my whole life living up to others' expectation or living up to what I want? So I have no control over what other people think about you. Me. So I take responsibility for what I do. So this is very liberating, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
People will think what they want to, but you should choose to be who you are and how you want to be.
Yeah, yeah. God made me like that.
Yeah.
मैं क्या भगवान के टोकन लाइन में नहीं खड़ा था, गे टोकन लिया है मैंने. I am what I am.
Describe your coming out experience in one word.
Funny.
What queer stereotype annoys you the most?
Uh, being effeminate.
What is one thing that you would like to see change for the queer community in your lifetime?
Uh, as accepted as heterosexuals are accepted, homosexuals be accepted.
Pick one, drag show or queer poetry slam.
Queer poetry.
One line guidance for the queers who are working in corporate spaces.
If you give me a sense of belonging, I'll give you a sense of ownership.
That is a strong statement. Uh,
Thank you.
I'll say a bunch of words and you give me your immediate response to it, whether it's verbal or non-verbal. Diversity and inclusion, allyship,
Wow.
homophobia, India,
Great.
queer stories,
Inspiring.